Alright, today's lesson, this is chapter 7, lesson 4, finding the properties of similar polygons. So this is our first example. We are going to determine whether rectangle HJKL is similar to rectangle MNPQ. So please take a minute and just copy down the two rectangles. Alright, so after we've drawn these shapes down, we need to figure out which sides correspond to each other. So I'm going to write HJKL over MNPQ. I need to figure out which sides correspond. So how about if I have HJ? What corresponds with HJ? MN. What about JK? NP, NKL, PQ, and lastly we have HL and MQ. Okay, so just from these statements we figured all this out. Well, what is the length of HJ?
7.
HJ is 7, MN is 10. So 7/10, how do I write that as a decimal? 0.7. JK is 3. NP is, what's 3 over 6? 0.5. KL is 7. PQ is 10. That's 0.7, right? And HL is 3. And MQ is 6, that is 0.5. So, are those shapes similar? No, they are not similar, because they don't have the same scale factor. So they are not similar, and you're going to write a statement stating that. Alright, for our next example, it says determine whether triangle DEF is similar to triangle HJK. Go ahead and copy down the two triangles, the side length, and the labels. Okay, so again, do we use the picture to find corresponding sides, or should we use the names? The names. Okay, so we have, okay. We have DEF and HJK. You can tell me the first pair of corresponding sides. Ishraq.
So D, E is corresponding to side H and J.
Good. Enough. Give me another one.
J and K, E and F are corresponding to J and K.
Of course, that's red. Okay, and what's my third pair of corresponding sides? Dan, can you tell me? FD. KH. Alright, what is the length of DE? 4. What's the length of HJ? 5. If I do 4 divided by 5 in my calculator, what decimal do I get? 0.8. Good. Okay, what's the length of EF? 5. What's the length of JK? 6.25. If I put that in my calculator, 5 divided by 6.25, what do I get? 0.8. Remember, you put top number divided by the bottom number. Okay, what's the length of FD? 3. And what's the length of KH? And when I put that in my calculator, I get 0.8. So what does that tell us? They are similar because the scale factor is the same. Very good. So go ahead and write a sentence for yourself. A, got it. Do letter A on page 546. Alright, so let's go over this problem. So we should have had AB over, so 8 over XY, which is 12. What's 8 over 12? 0.6 repeated. BC matches up with 6 over 8. What is 6 over 8?
0.75.
0.75. And lastly, we could have had 6 over 8 again, which is going to be the same answer. So, are they similar? No, they are not. Right there, no, they are not, because the corresponding angles are not congruent. 8 over 12 is not equal to 6 over 8. So make sure you have that they are not similar. The next problem, all you really need to do is draw the pictures and make sure you label it. So it's telling you that this quadrilateral WXYZ is similar to ABCD. They're telling you that they are similar already. You have to A, describe the transformation to go from this figure to this figure. Then we're going to start figuring out how to find a missing measure. Alright, so the first thing we need to figure out is they already tell you they're similar. What transformation had to happen to go from WXYZ to ABCD? What had to happen?
Dilation.
Dilation. Did it enlarge or reduce? Okay, so it's going to reduce, and then it had to translate to the left. Very good. Next thing we need to look at is we need to look at the statements and find the corresponding sides. So I'm going to write the statements just like this. So one is on top of the other one. We are finding M. We now have to find a side. So that's where I want you to start. So this side is XY. What corresponds with XY? BC. So what is the length of BC? 12. BC is 12. Okay, so we're going to write M over 12. Now I need to find another side where I know both numbers. So what other side do I know both numbers on each polygon? Okay, I know CD and ZY. So, I started with M. I started with this figure, so that's the one that I have to do on top. YZ is 15 over CD is 10. I know they're similar, so they're going to be equal to each other. So how do I solve for M? You cross multiply. So I have 10M equals 15 times 12. What is 15 times 12? What is M?
18.
18. Because they're similar, you can solve for a missing side. Alright, next example. Please copy down the pictures. It tells you that quadrilateral LMNO is similar to GHIJ. We need to figure out what transformation took place. And then we have to find missing side NO. Okay, so what transformations do we have to do to LMNO to get it right on top of GHIJ? Yeah.
You have to dilate and reduce it and translate it left.
Okay, so we're going to dilate it. Is our scale factor going to be less than 1, more than 1, or equal to 1? Good. So we're going to dilate it with a scale factor less than 1. Then we're going to do what?
Translate it left.
And then translate it left. So go ahead and write a sentence. Okay, so now we're finding the missing side. So which side is missing? And M. We're looking to solve for M here. So M over which side on GHIJ corresponds to NO? IJ. So we are going to write M over 4 is equal to, we have to find another set of corresponding sides. So we're going to use LO over GJ. So we are going to use 3 over 2. 3 has to go on the top because M is in the numerator. They're on the same shape. So if we cross multiply, we get 2M equals 12, and M equals 6. So our missing side is 6. Alright, let's look at this picture here. First, you need to figure out which sides correspond with each other so that you can set up your proportion correctly. So if I look at AB, it goes from 1 arc to 2 arcs. So that corresponds with WX because that goes from 1 arc to 2 arcs. The next side, what does BC correspond with? BC, it goes from 2 arcs here to 3 arcs for the angle. So it matches up with XY. Next, CD is 10. That goes from 3 arcs to 4 arcs. And YZ is 3 arcs to 4 arcs. You need to know which sides match up before you can start solving this problem. And the last set we have here is WZ and AZ. Now you should be able to set up the proportions and solve for WZ and AZ.
Yeah.
Alright, so as we can see here, to find WZ, we set up the purple equation, and when you solve the proportion, you would find that B had to be 19.5. The C one, I used C for the missing side of AB, set up this proportion, and C would be 16. Now you're going to practice on your own. You're going to go to page 548, numbers 1 to 4.